Hey guys, what is up? It's Dusty here and welcome back to another episode of the Daily Crypto News. And a couple of things are looking very strange for the crypto market right now. I might make a couple of trades on XRP and Bitcoin on the short term that I'm going to tell you guys about in this video. Having said that, what I think is looking strange is the fact that the stock market has been overwhelmingly positive, just crazy bullish. One of the most bullish closes in the entire long time. I don't even know how long. Crazy. But Bitcoin is not so much. So to give you guys some idea, Bitcoin is down about 0.3% on the daily, Ethereum down about 0.6%, XRP is almost down 2%, and Cardano's down 2%, Solana's down 1.5%. Things are not really looking so good. All the while, yesterday, or actually the day before already, I told you guys things are looking as if the stock market is going to have one of the most historically bullish closes, and so it would be logical if Bitcoin and XRP and a lot of the cryptos that we know and love would also go ahead and go through with this crazy pump. Now, that part is true, the first part, the fact that the stock market did have a crazy bullish close and did do really well on Friday. You can actually see it right here. The numbers on the S&P and NASDAQ look really amazing. So what then happened to Bitcoin? Well, as you guys know, I actually have my long position open for a little while. There were two main scenarios which prompted us to open up some long positions. One was this inverse head and shoulder here, where we actually got ourselves about 3.5% profit. And two was the second head and shoulder pattern, where we actually got ourselves at maximum, right? So as of the breakout, let's quickly check this out if we can press. I guess similar to 3.6% profit with the outlook of about 9% profit. That was going to be our first target. And if you asked me this a couple of hours ago, this would have still been my target. And that's because a lot of resistances lie on one spot. We can see this 100 EMA right here. We can see this previous top for multiple different occasions, June 14th here, June 15th. We've seen multiple different stops at that point, but also over on the weekly, we can clearly see that this is also one of the bigger EMAs or SMAs. In this case here, the 200 weekly SMA that lies at right around that level of $22.5 thousand. Let's make one thing really clear here. I need to really clearly address this. Most signs are actually bullish. In the crypto market, I honestly think that if you take a couple of weeks, for example, things are looking really good. Okay, let's maybe extrapolate a little bit. Let's say a couple of months. Things are really good for crypto, and most signs are showing that the bottom might be in. Even there on the RSI, for example, looks to be at the bottom of this beautiful pattern. We're still waiting for the breakout to actually continue to become really, I guess, bull market vibes, because right now it feels like a bear market with most signs showing bullishness. It's kind of hard to explain, but here's what's happening. So we thought that it was going to breach through this little previous top, which is right here at roughly about 21.5 thousand. This is actually just slightly above my first take profit, of which I'll post a little update for you guys over in my Telegram. My first take profit was just a very small percentage, which funny enough actually went wrong. I'll tell you guys about that over on Telegram. But again, our main target was right here. Why was our main target right here? Well, it was major resistance, as just stated. Our second target was all the way at 25,000, and that's actually where the major resistances started to kind of collapse. We've talked before about how there's multiple EMAs, the 1,000 daily and the 200 weekly EMA, for example, that both collide at around $27,000 plus or so, which meant that 25 or a little bit below that, as it's a psychological barrier, would be a pretty safe target. The next major resistance would be our previous support at roughly $30,000. So all of this basically prompted us to be quite positive as long as you could break out above 21.5 as well. Again, you guys remember my downward scenario as well, right? Again, the moment that we breached $20,000, I would be looking for a position towards $19,000 in terms of a short position. And I also recommended you guys to look for this little symmetrical triangle here and the breakout to the downside, but it didn't. It broke towards the upside. It got the bounce that I expected off of the symmetrical triangle here towards the upside. It, however, struggled at this resistance. As it's been struggling at that resistance, though, one thing is becoming quite apparent. It doesn't have the buying power that we anticipated. It can still continue on. It can still have this crazy bullish breakout continuation like we expected, but there's now things starting to kind of stir up that are a little bit more scary than before. And I want you guys to watch this really carefully, right? I want you guys to watch for a breakout towards the downside on this pattern. And if we do, I honestly think the best idea at that point would be to have a short-term short position all the way until about 19.8, 19.9 thousand. But that is honestly with one very important thing in mind as well. As I said before, the stock market acted really positively where crypto really didn't. Now, what happens very often in weeks like this is that the stock market ends the intra week, so Monday to Friday, at a really positive note. Bitcoin doesn't yet see that reflected, and so what can happen is that on the short term, Bitcoin is going to actually act right now on the weekend, either positively to kind of still portray this message of the S&P and whatnot, and then come back down as the weekend ends, or actually quite negatively and come back up as the weekend ends. What do I mean with that? Well, Bitcoin right now is not being supported by any move in the S&P or NASDAQ. It's acting as an inverse correlation, but it's also something which you don't see happening too often unless what I just described happens, which basically means S&P and NASDAQ are crazy bullish on the short term. Okay, sure. Bitcoin is not really moving too much. The chances are high that it will move and do something crazy throughout the next couple of, let's say, days here over the weekend. So we have our Saturday and Sunday, but still move right back down to roughly where we got into the weekend on. So again, you check out, 24th of June, 10 p.m. The price of Bitcoin at that point was 21.2 thousand. Chances are very high that whatever price action we see over the weekend, that by the end of the weekend, we'll return right back to this spot. That together with the fact that most cases of stock market propaganda, whatever I've seen, is really positive right now. It's making me more scared on the short term. How come there's so ridiculously many whales depositing crazy amounts of crypto to dump on us is what the media is saying on one side, but then the stock market is in such a crazy bullish position. It's scary, but it is also like a really volatile period. We talked about that before, right? How this period right now can be a really, really volatile period over the next couple of days. To summarize here, watch out for this breakout towards the downside. If we continue towards the upside, again, continue on with a long position, which is going to be juicy for the next couple of thousands of dollars most likely, but there is a potential for a breakdown where we have our first target at 19.9, which is going to be a short position. There's actually something interesting happening on XRP though, because all the while Bitcoin is showing this falling wedge, which usually break down towards the downside, XRP is showing a bullish pennant or again symmetrical triangle, and this one is actually looking quite bullish. So again, XRP is looking a lot better than Bitcoin is, and that's something to be said for the price action we've seen recently. This pattern here that we have here is not a real perfect symmetrical triangle in any way, shape, or form. It's just to give it some relevant thought here to see the price action to kind of portray what it looks like. I wouldn't extrapolate too much out of this pattern, too much in terms of a real trading position. It's just to showcase to you guys, XRP to Bitcoin is also moving relatively positively, meaning XRP has for the last couple of days been performing better than Bitcoin has because Bitcoin has been going down or not up as much as XRP has. And the chart is clearly showing that a breakout towards the upside for XRP is very likely, while on the short term for Bitcoin, things are a little bit more on the warning side. So if I had to make a choice, XRP really looks like the clear long position, let's go ahead, let's go crazy type of crypto as of this point. As again, once we get ourselves a little bullish breakout going, it's going to be at least 4% or so before our major, first resistance lies ahead of us. And again, it's backed by the fact that XRP versus Bitcoin has already been doing good, and that the moment that XRP starts to spike, Bitcoin doesn't actually have to be doing too well because it would form within the pattern of what we've seen for the last couple of days anyway. And then there's one thing I should tell you guys as well. Singapore-based crypto exchange Bybit expands to Argentina. Now, Bybit is actually going to move over to Dubai, if I'm not mistaken, right? But Bybit is really expanding like crazy, and honestly, it's my favorite exchange by far right now. If you've not checked it out just quite yet, check the link of any one of my descriptions, basically. There's an $8 million WSOT competition going on Bybit. Actually, if you're signed up on that one, you can get a couple dollars for free every day from spinning the wheel, by the way. Little fun fact, maybe you did not know that. But there's also the Bybit partner thing, which just go ahead and check out Bybit. They have crazy bonuses, $4,500. You also have a couple of other exchanges that might be more of your preference. Just check it out. And of course, you always have my social links right there as well. But yeah, the WSOT thing, right now, there's a team competition going on that I honestly recommend you guys all to join if you've not done so yet, because there's $8 million that can be won. All right, so again, to make one or matters clear, I guess, XRP is looking to go really, really bullish with at least like 6% worth of gains on the horizon. And it shows to be backed up by XRP versus Bitcoin, but we'll have to see how the breakout turns. The stock market ended really positively, which leaves a lot of people to believe that Bitcoin is also going to reflect that. It, however, broke down from one of the most important resistances we wanted to get over. And so right now, a lot of people, including me, are looking for whether or not it's going to break towards the downside. And currently, as it stands, we might actually want to open up on the short term a quick little short position all the way towards 19.9 thousand. Take your profits there and maybe even open up another long position. As well, as it turns out, most likely Bitcoin is going to end the week at about 21.2 thousand again, but we shall see. Have our longs been invalidated? Well, it depends. If you have a really low leverage long going on, it might always be worth it to buy the moment we are under, for example, this 200 moving average here over on the weekly, because historically speaking, this is shown to be a really positive sign. Also, right now it's looking as if the RSI might actually turn over. Then again, the bull market only is going to start the moment that we break out and actually start to get above the RSI consecutively to start a bullish trend, which has been not happening for a very long time. So if you're talking about spot buying, always a good idea for the majority of coins that I talk about on my channel. If you ask me, it's not going to make too much of a difference whether or not you buy at 18 or 19 or $20,000 per Bitcoin. Same thing for XRP, 36, 32, 41. It's not really going to make too much of a difference at what exact price you buy at. On the short term though, it's a little bit of a crazy period, mostly because we already expected the volatility, but on the stocks it was a lot easier than on crypto. So be cautious, and well, I'm going to put this trade over in Telegram as well, the couple of ideas that I have, and let's see how this plays out. As I took a little bit of profit over on my long position at 21.48, I think I opened a short position at that point, which was an accident, but I'll talk about that more over on Telegram. So join Telegram, the alerts Telegram, if you've not done that yet. It should also be somewhere down here. It is this Telegram video notifications. I have to change the name on that one though. It's my trading group, or my group where I talk about everything I'm doing. So make sure you check that out. And I'll see you guys again in another crypto video later today.